Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Here are your hosts, Jmann and Danny, the Midwest motherfuckers. And welcome to another fucktastic episode of the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
I'm Danny.
And we're back post-Christmas to tell you all about Black Lives Matter this week, because I know nobody's sick of hearing about those fuckers. Also, Danny's going to talk about a little Christmas grinchery that's been going on with like package thieving, and a special little story about a special little boy who didn't quite get what he asked for.
That's right. The thing I noticed this week while surfing YouTube is how many goddamn people steal packages off of everybody's porch during Christmas.
Well, it's the best time of year to get free shit because it's laying around everywhere.
Talk about super Grinch. I mean, Jesus Christ. Is your life that scummy that you gotta go and steal off of other people's porches for... Who knows what the package has been? It could have been for their 4-year-old daughter, their 5-year-old kid, or their...
Grandma's medication. It's Grandma's heart pills.
Yeah, it's probably what half of them are. Well, not the heart pills, but who knows?
Or Mommy and Mommy's dildo strap-on package coming from AdamandEve.com.
One guy thought he was going to get revenge. He took and bought a GPS tracker and then stuck it in a... I don't even remember what it was. Some kind of Amazon package. It was a little boombox, mini boombox, probably a 1 by 6-inch package. He took the boombox out, obviously, and then stuck this little tracker in it, which is like the size of a pager. And then he put some towels in there, and it had identical weight. Put it back in the Amazon box and put it back out on the porch. And the next morning at like 7 a.m., this guy's tracker goes off, and the package is on the move. And this is all taking place in Santa Monica. And the guy tracks it. Once he gets off work, it's down by Venice Beach or the ocean or whatever.
Right.
It's by like Muscle Beach. Somewhere there's a shitload of people. And he gets down there, gets to where the dot tells him, but obviously the tracker isn't right on. It'll get you within like 50 feet. So he's standing there looking around. There's 200 people within 50 feet.
Aww.
And he fucked up. He bought the smallest tracker and then just stuck it in the box. You're looking for something the size of a pager amongst 200 people. It's not like he sewed it into a backpack or stashed it somewhere. It's just in this box. So once the thief opens this box, you would think he's going to look at it and go, oh, fuck, throw this little pager in the garbage.
Right.
You think that's what he did?
No.
Of course not. This guy tried to turn the fucking thing off.
Well, criminals are very smart to begin with, so...
So when you turned it off, that sent a signal to the dude who put the tracker in there that some asshole was trying to turn it off. It didn't turn it off. It just sent him an extra message saying, hey, they're fucking with it.
Did it literally say someone's fucking with it? Or did it maybe say the device has been turned off?
It was trying to be tampered with, I believe, is the terminology. But, again, you would think this guy would now toss the fucker away. Because now he's opened this box, seen what's in it, and it's not what he thought it was. So you would think he would just toss this tracker away.
I would.
He didn't.
Dummy.
He put it
Dummy!
back into his pocket and left Santa Monica, headed for Long Beach.
Why not?
So this guy who bought the tracker and is tracking it is all amped up about it. And it's in this YouTube video. It's just funny. He's all excited, thinking it's going to be, he's going to be fucking MacGyver and find this guy. So he goes home at night because his phone's dead and he can't track anymore that night. Next morning he wakes up, checks the tracker. The tracker stopped in some apartment building in Long Beach, California. He calls the cops. You think the cops helped him?
Cops are very helpful, so I know they immediately resolve the situation in the blink of an eye.
Unfortunately, no. They told the guy there's nothing that they can do unless he's seen the perp with the tracker.
Go figure.
He's got an address for an apartment building, but it's an apartment building. It's got a couple hundred units in it, and the tracker, unfortunately, wasn't that accurate. Get him to the exact apartment. If
it would have been like a brick of cocaine, they would have kicked every door in that fucking apartment in until they found the brick of cocaine.
Oh, you know,
because that's all they want is the drugs. Oh, did you get ripped off of a package? Oh, that sucks. Well, unless you have video of the guy doing it and then he gave you his social security number and home address, we really can't do shit for you. So we're going to go ahead and put our thumbs back up in our butts and keep driving around like we're doing something. And you, sir, have a good day.
And they always want to tell you, if there's a problem, call us. Well, this is why people don't call the cops. This guy did all the legwork for the cops, and they still wouldn't help him out. He, at the end of the day, didn't get the tracker back, didn't get anybody arrested, nothing.
I like that he went all neighborhood watch on it, and then he not only got screwed over again, He got screwed over minus the cost of the tracker and all the gas and the time he spent trying to find it. And the cops were like, oh, good for you. Well, fuck off.
Well, that's right. He mentions a couple times throughout this video that the tracker was not cheap. And the reason he did it is he had like 8 packages go missing consecutively after this. Now, wouldn't you start mailing shit to your mom's house instead?
Or get a P.O. box.
Something. Why do you, after that many?
Or you can, in most instances, ask for signature confirmation at delivery and they will not hand it over. So if it's UPS, they'll leave you a note saying, go and pick it up at this UPS store. And then you go there and you sign for the motherfucker because you have to show them a picture ID.
Yeah, this was Amazon. I don't know what
they use FedEx and UPS and post office. You could still do it, set it up for a signature confirmation. You could put a note to the seller saying that I would like this dropped off at the post office where I can pick it up and sign for it.
Another package thievery that I heard about this morning.
Mm-hmm.
This I believe the kid was 6.
No, he was 9.
Oh, he was 9?
I read this one. I'm going to take over on this one.
Okay.
So the kid was 9, and he asked his parents for a PS4 for Christmas. And they went and they bought it. And then when they bought it at Target, they apparently didn't inspect the box because they got it, they wrapped it, and then on Christmas morning, he thought that Santa had brought him a PS4.
They bought it from Target?
Yeah.
Interesting. Proceed.
So the kid opened the box, and inside the box was not a PS4. What it was some packing materials and a piece of wood that said...
From Cock and Balls with Love.
And there was a picture of a dick and balls on there. Which, first off, if you're going to nationally publish this story, if you're going to advertise it across the whole nation, don't fuzz out the picture of the cock and balls. Like, this horrible picture that you won't believe what they did. Well, of course I can't believe it, because I can't fucking see what it was, you dumb cunts.
Now you deprived us on how it was done. Was it a cartoon, or was it super detailed with shading?
Yeah, I want to know, like, if you drew the veins and the hairs, and if you got the actual, like, the V-shaped lip at the bottom of the head of the mushroom cat. All that shit. So the kid is, like, distraught, and apparently he went in his room and pulled his best Darlene Connor impression by just locking himself behind closed doors and acting all fucking emotional all day. So his parents took it back to Target. And they explained what they happened to the store manager, who felt horrible. And he gave them another PS4 and a $100 gift card. Pretty good story. But his mom was like, well, this has totally ruined his belief in Santa. He's 9 fucking years old. He's going to get pubic hairs in like 2 years and be thinking about pussy constantly. If he still believes in Santa Claus, count your fucking blessings at this point, because he's not out there ripping the heads off of Barbie dolls and trying to have sex with dead cats.
Let's go back a minute, though, here, because I didn't catch that part that this thing came from Target. I thought that maybe it was something that was left on the doorstep or something, so the problem goes back to Target. What do you think happened?
I was reading comments, and it could have been an employee, or it could have been somebody where they get these people that know this is the time of year to buy high-price electronics, and they'll swap out the item with a comparable amount of weight, seal it back up, make it look official. I mean, hey, I convinced my parents that certain Super Nintendo games were still inside the package using spit and a blow dryer to reseal the plastic. These motherfuckers didn't even put like a new seal sticker on there.
I suppose Target's not all Nazi'd out like Walmart. Whenever you bring anything back to Walmart, they fucking open that shit.
They open it, and they make you sign for it, and sometimes they ask for an ID.
I had bought some weather stripping one time for around the door. I don't remember why. The old lady cut a piece off or something and cut it wrong, or it was the wrong shit, and we went to take it back. And these bitches took it out of the package, got a tape measure, and measured out the 12 feet, and it was a foot off. They did not let us return.
Of course they didn't. But at Target, you can apparently get away with bringing a PS4 box up to the return counter and then just giving it to the cashier. She's going to go, oh, okay, this must be a PS4. I'm just going to put it in the return card for electronics. And she's not going to check the fucking thing out because she's worked there for 2 weeks because she's holiday hired help. And there's 50 other people standing in line to return shit. And heaven forbid you be thorough just because somebody's got to wait an extra few seconds.
Or maybe it's multiple people involved. Maybe it was a bigger scheme going on. I wonder how many boxes had From Cock and Balls with Love in it.
I don't know. Something like that's pretty funny where you got to wonder that you only do it one time. Because once upon a time ago, this is a good story. I bought this movie from Sam Goody or Suncoast Pictures, one of the two. It was at Rosedale. It was the unauthorized biography of ICP. We took it back to my parents' house. We were watching it, and I'm like, what the fuck is with this thing? It's a bunch of chopped up interview shit. It doesn't make any sense. And this is completely fake-ass, non-licensed. It's none of their music.
Well,
so
it was ICP, so it could have been just that shitty.
No, this goes beyond that. This was because it was unauthorized, and I didn't read more into what that meant. So I'm like, okay, we are bringing this shit back. So I went looking through my mom's stack of VHS tapes that was in their pantry closet, and I found one from like the mid to late 80s, maybe? It was old. And it was one of those Nordic Track product demo ones they sent to everybody to get you to want to buy it. So I took the stickers off the ICP video, and I put it on the Nordic Track tape. And I'm like, God, do you think this is going to work? I'm like, well, just before we package it back up, I popped it in the VCR, we hit play, and it starts looking like it's an actual video. Then all of a sudden, it kicks into like a Nordic Track commercial. And we are fucking dying laughing about this shit. Like, oh my God, this is going to be hilarious. Some fucking ICP fan's going to buy this shit. And just like us, only instead of seeing a crappy unauthorized ICP documentary, what they're going to see is a fucking Nordic Track tape. So I packaged it back up, made it look brand new, and then I went to the mall a few days later with my girlfriend at the time. And if you want to get away with returning anything you've already used, send your girlfriend to return it. Because they would have definitely said no to me, but to her, they're like, oh, is there anything wrong with it? She's like, no, he just didn't want it. They took it right back.
Nice.
And I'm guessing they put it back on the fucking shelf, or maybe they did. I don't know. I doubt they opened it up to make sure it was completely authentic and then re-shrink wrapped it, because I used fucking saran wrap.
Some juggalo is crying in his fago right now about this.
That was a long time. That was like 1999, though. I should get a reprieve for the fact that it was 16 years ago and I was 17 goddamn years old. I didn't know what good music was back then.
Clearly. ICP is like one of the worst bands ever.
Well, they didn't used to be. They used to be one of the most hated, but then they started making the same album over and over and over and over again. Everything went off the rails after about The Great Malenko.
Explain this to me. How is it that juggalos are now a classified gang?
Oh, because if you have enough people that all get together for organized criminal activity, and they have their own subculture of slang and hand symbols.
But they're they're angry emo kids.
No, they're not. They're undereducated fucking social rejects. Most of them end up in juvie.
Well, right.
And knocking up fat girls in the back of a single wide trailer.
Well, right, but you can't deny that they're also angry emo kids.
Okay,
there's a lot of similarities between them and emo kids. They fucking hate everything.
Pretty much.
Especially themselves and their parents.
Oh, no, they claim they're all about love. That's why I had to stop listening to ICP, because I went to a few concerts and all the fucking other juggalos around me were total assholes. I'm like, what the fuck is this family bullshit you keep talking? Everybody is getting pissed off about standing room and flying elbows and people throwing fago on me outside the club before we're inside, and I'm not wearing a fucking jacket because I don't want to get it drenched. And it was like 28 degrees outside, so thanks for that, you fat, smelly cunt that was in front of me in line that time at the Quest. I smelled like cherry cola. Neo gets super fucking pissed off about that FBI thing.
Explain.
He's still fucking... Like, I quit listening to ICP forever ago. And then he kind of did, but secretly kept doing it, and he still listens to some of their shit. He's
so he's pissed at the classification.
Huh? Yeah, he thinks it's bullshit. Because I just remember one day on Facebook, he's like, apparently for the last X amount of years, I've been a member of a gang.
It is kind of bullshit.
Posted this. It's fucking retarded is what it is.
It's
just a bunch of idiots that want to wear the stupid clown paint and go around and commit some crimes. It's no different than if you got a small street gang of Kiss fans going around fucking waving their cocks at people, acting like they're hot shit. So coming up in a few days here, we've got New Year's Eve, which means it's time for New Year's resolutions.
Fuck New Year's resolutions.
You're not going to make a resolution to swear less?
No, because they all fail. What's the point? Why should I continue that? I'm not going to follow through with that. I'm not going to quit smoking. I'm not going to quit swearing.
Well, I think that I should maybe lighten up a bit for the new year and not be so instantly hateful towards certain people.
But certain people deserve it.
Well, okay, you ever have like someone try to ask you about a movie or a song or a band or a TV show, and they do so in as little detail as possible?
Hey, you know that one movie with the guy?
Yes, that shit. But then they get all annoyed that you can't figure out what they're talking about.
It's that fucking movie, dude!
Dude, what's that song that goes like...
You know.
We came to party and that's what we came to do. It's like a heavy rock. It's like, come on, you know. What's that one show you like with the guy who's all crazy and makes me laugh? I don't know. The News? Fuck off. Now, these people are usually also really bad at imitating other people or music in general. For instance, they try to imitate heavy metal, sounding like rah, 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 rah. They think it all sounds like that. But then they listen to country music and talk about how much they love it, but they can't even tell you the names of the shitty Kenny Chesney songs that they make you listen to. And then they get all defensive when you compare all the current country songs as being nearly identical in theme and tempo and cadence, Because I don't know if you realize this, but all pop country songs are written by about 5 people.
Yes, and have you heard the mashup?
Yes, I have.
That is fucking hilarious.
That's the point I made to this person in general, to prove to them that country music is all the same. Like, wow, what about what you listen to? It's all the same. It's like, rah, 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 rah. I'm like, you're fucking awful.
The thing with that, though, is that's the pop country, which is just mostly shit anyway. You can't knock on, like, old Johnny Cash.
Well, no, classic country I'm down with. And
right.
Everything
we just got to make that distinction, no.
Everything up to about the midpoint of Garth Brooks' career.
As soon as
I can listen to.
What is it, Brad Paisley? As soon as he gets in the mix. And
yeah, him or Kenny Chesney or any of these other stupid fucks.
Yes.
Everything's about partying and a good time and alcohol.
And rapping in country is not fucking cool. Knock it off. You sound like a fucking idiot.
Also, here's another type of person. They talk about their happy home life all the time, but they constantly get bitched out by their family for being late and driving like a fucking maniac. They swear they love being married, but in reality, other girls are sending nude pics of themselves to their husbands secretly. And he's probably excited about that because the person I'm talking about has let themselves go after multiple pregnancies and eats shitty and smokes constantly, but they also can't understand why they can't lose weight. I swear this isn't about anybody specific.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe in the new year, I'm going to try to be a little bit nicer to people that annoy the shit out of me because maybe they don't understand how annoying they are.
I give it till January 7th.
I probably am not even going to get off the ground with this one because somebody's going to say something. I'm just going to go, God, will you please go deep throat a fucking shotgun? Jesus Christ. And they'll be like, I just asked you how your weekend was.
Go Kurt Cobain yourself, please. Have you seen Soaked in Bleach?
Is that fucking...
That's the new one.
Documentary.
So I'm sure you probably haven't because you're cheap.
Because nobody has.
So
it was only at like one theater.
Well, yeah, I've seen it on Netflix, though, so that's why I've seen it.
Well,
trust me, I wouldn't have gone to pay to see anything about Nirvana. But in this documentary, it totally turns out he was murdered.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Courtney put him up to it.
She put people up to it? If by put people, you mean she went into the bathroom and probably threw him in the tub and jammed a shotgun into his mouth?
No, she was too doped up to do it. She hired somebody.
So she had like the rest of the band whole do it for her. Dave, if you want to get it from behind that fucking drum kit, you need to go in there and convince this motherfucker to blow his brains out.
Or what about Trent Reznor? Trent could have done it. Trent was fucking her. Marilyn was fucking her. Marilyn Manson was fucking her. Billy Corrigan.
God, there's a merry-go-round of dicks I don't want to share one
She
vagina
wanted
with.
a kid from Billy Corrigan because she liked his nose and hated her nose. This is how fucked this bitch is.
They had plastic surgery back then. I don't understand why she would have to even think about the genetics portion of all of that.
Well, I'm surprised she even thought about genetics considering how fucked up she was. But it kind of blew my theory out. My theory is that Kurt finally realized what he was married to one day and killed himself.
No. It was about how he didn't want to become the stereotypical rock star. He didn't like what he had become. So
but wouldn't you kill yourself if you woke up from a coma one day and realized you were married to Courtney Love and had a kid with her?
No, I just killed Courtney Love. Then you got all kinds of new cred. Everyone's like, wow, that dude's fucking hardcore. He shot that bitch right in the face. He doesn't even believe in divorce.
So what are we going to talk about next?
I want to backtrack the last week of the infamous Black Lives Matter protest.
Oh, you mean
Mall of America that somehow was a smokescreen for a protest at the airport at MSP International.
That's what they say. They say it was all a decoy to draw resources off of the light rail and the airport. I don't know if they're that smart or if coincidentally it all just worked out for them and now they're trying to say that it was all planned, a decoy.
I don't think they're smart enough to have the foresight to think that they
can
cover up all that by making up some story that's just a magical alibi.
No.
Now, a couple of people high up probably planned this shit and sent them over there. And, well, good for them for having a few people in the chain that know what's going on. But fuck you for what you did.
So about 500 of them showed up at the mall, causing shops and kiosks to close for about an hour. Protesters at the mall then suddenly walked out and headed for the light rail, where they boarded and headed to the airport.
Well, yeah, but if you also watch the news, they had the, in the rotunda, they had that video board that had a message, like, this is your final warning.
Oh, yeah.
Also part of the protest. If you don't disperse, you'll be arrested.
There was a couple signs up, too, saying no protesting. But all these people headed for the airport, and eventually they ended up shutting down Terminals 1 and 2 by creating a human chain across the roads.
Yeah, I saw that, how the cars were just all fucking backed up, and then you saw the state patrol speeding in, lights and sirens going. And I'm just like, I'm surprised that nobody just ran them over.
Well, what I want to know is, who are these fools really disrupting? I mean, was it the 4th Precinct? Did they get affected by this demonstration?
They did not.
Did it affect the residents of North Minneapolis for the better, any way, shape, or form?
Probably not.
Again, no. it didn't do anything for their cause. If anything, it hurt their cause because people were missing airplanes to go out for their Christmas vacation, see loved ones that they hadn't seen.
Well, here's what I want to get now. At what point did you go, maybe if we go to the airport and we disrupt travel on one of the busiest days of the year, people will pay attention to us because they'll have no other option but to be trapped to bring about the change that we're seeing. You know, if you want to make the situation better, you probably shouldn't inconvenience people that are just trying to see their family during the busiest goddamn travel day of the year, or one of them. What you need to do is run for city council, go to school to be a cop, do anything else, go stand outside of a government building. I don't know, do something. But what you did, that was just an unbelievable dick move.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it didn't do anything for their cause. All it did was make people that were working at the mall lose out. The shop owners lost business. They're going to say, oh, big deal, they can afford it. Well, you know what? What about the employees? What about the employees working there making $7.50 an hour that were banking on that holiday hours to finish up with their last-minute Christmas shopping? Now
They were making more than $7.50 an hour. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. It's a mall job.
Yeah, but it's the Mall of America. That's why everything's so much more expensive.
You think the guy standing at the kiosk, though, is making all that much?
Most of those people make $10 and $12 an hour, which is not really the point, but...
Okay, so, well, if they're making that much, then they lost out on that much more. Either way.
I wonder how expensive it is to take an Amtrak trip to Chicago, where you could actually go and stand around and surround Chicago police headquarters and stand out there so you could go and join in more of the Laquan McDonald fervor over that cop that's going to got indicted. Yeah, so...
Where was the Tamir Rice one?
Tamir Rice was Cleveland.
They're not being indicted. I read that today.
No.
I don't know a whole lot about that one, no.
That was the one. I think he might have been the kid that was waving the fucking BB gun around. I don't know. There's so many of them who can fucking keep track because what just happened in Chicago yesterday? They were raiding some house looking for some people and accidentally shot the fucking neighbor lady, which is a 55-year-old woman who had 5 kids and was going back to school.
I think they need to reteach the gun safety too.
I think they need to not go in guns drawn.
What do you think about the body cams? You think that's a good thing?
It can be. I mean, you have to hope that they can't automatically manipulate the footage any, or like, oh, there's this blackout period from when he got into the car to when he got back to the station and nobody knows what happened.
Right, but theoretically, if these things are working, they shouldn't do that. And from what these things look like, they're dead center in the chest. Yeah. Like, they wear this weird fucking strapped-on thing, and it's just a little circle.
It's like those spider security things they put on all the expensive electronics at Best Buy.
Right, so what do you think the cops are going to say towards not wanting? What is their argument going to be?
Oh, I don't think they have a choice.
I mean, you know that some of them are not going to want to wear these fucking things.
I don't even know what
But what's it going to be there? Because from what I've seen, they're not big and bulky, so it's not going to impede them from doing their job any means at all. And it's lightweight. It's not going to get hooked or caught on anything. Not going to affect anything they do, I don't think. But you know there's going to be cops that are dead set against wearing one. Well,
even where I work, I worry about the number of cameras because the people that are in charge of those cameras are the people that have the power. So no matter what you're doing, right or wrong, if they feel they have a case to articulate you're doing something wrong, you're on the defensive and they hold the power. So it's you as an employee going up against big government and they've got all this money and resources and you probably have a shitty union that doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground that just takes your fees to represent you, and you're not going to get a proper defense. It happens. It happens all the fucking time. So I guess my rationale would be if I was one of those cops is, yeah, it's great so you could see that I'm not fucking up, but who's to say that you're not going to take things I'm doing right, and just because you don't like me personally as my commanding officer say, you know, you've been fucking up a lot lately, and I'm going to reprimand you on paper for it. So anytime someone's recording anything you're doing, there's that potential to abuse the power they have over you by being in charge of those recordings.
But at the same time, you could say, well, go look at so-and-so's. He does it the exact same way I do. So
they don't care. They're going to be like, it's not about everybody. It's about you.
Oh, that's
dude, they got all their fucking rope-a-dope, talk you into a corner tricks. It's fucking bullshit. And then the best part about sometimes when you get in trouble working for the government is they'll sit you down with somebody to investigate what's been going on. And they'll be like, well, did you know you violated this policy? And they'll slide you a piece of paper and go, look at that policy. And 9 times out of 10, they've highlighted one sentence that's not even a complete idea. It's a vague 9 or 10 words of dialogue that is so goddamn unspecific. You're just looking at them like, yeah, and where are you going with this? Well, look at it. Well, you fucking look at it. Because I don't know where you're... I literally don't know because it's too generalized. So could you point that out? That'd be the argument that I think a lot of those cops would make. It's why we don't trust the government as a whole in this country. It's pretty much what Black Lives Matter is about, is not trusting the police. Hold them accountable for the people they're killing.
Which, you know, their message, I think, is good. But there's a lot of fuckheads in there that...
Oh, they shot themselves right in the dick on this one. I don't know if
definitely.
you can come back from this. Because if you look at some of the stories, the anecdotal stories that are coming out about people that were affected by this is one lady that was trying to leave town to get on a plane at 6 p.m. to go fly to see her mother who was dying. And that she didn't end up getting on a plane because her flight was delayed until 9 or 10. And by the time she got to where she was going, I think Virginia, her mom was dead. Which, that sounds like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But you have to take it with a grain of salt because somebody could have just fabricated that whole fucking thing. But let's look at the generalized ideas. There's families that are trying to travel. And you're stuck in the airport because all hell's breaking loose outside and they're not letting planes off the ground. Or you got to get through the security checkpoint to get to your flight on time, but they've shut it down because these fuckhats are just disrupting everything around them and then you don't get to your flight on time. Now you're standing there with your kids, and you were going to see grandma or grandpa, or you're the college kid that had almost no free time this semester, but any free time you had, you spent working to get just enough to go back home. Or people that are trying to surprise loved ones with trips like, oh, I'm not going to make it. And you're like so fucking jazzed up. Like, have you ever surprised somebody just by showing up for something?
Oh, yeah.
And depending upon the level of importance of that event to the person that you're showing up to see, you could be geeking out of your mind like you just fucking ate an entire balloon of crank.
I also heard a story of a lady that had to leave. She was visiting here or something, or she was going to visit family, and she had all these gifts with her, and she had to abandon them in the cab and walk the last mile to the terminal because they couldn't get her up to the front door. And that was just so that she could actually make it to see it. And then she ended up not making it, obviously, because everything was delayed.
Well, I hope that Uber driver didn't just be like, hey, free shit.
Well, that's kind of what I wondered.
Give it to my kids.
Yeah, because she apparently had hundreds of dollars worth of gifts all ready to go.
Yeah, a lot of those stories sound like bullshit. They all sound like something out of a Home Alone movie. Where you're just like, fuck it, I gotta get home. Next thing you know, you're riding in the back of a truck with a goddamn polka band and John Candy's eyeball fucking you because he was just waiting for you to doze off to touch your tits.
Point being, though, is what they pulled was the most selfish act they could have fucking done.
They could have lined up alongside the street to the terminal with signs.
Yeah.
Not block the road.
Yep.
But they still could have got their point across. So people were like, look at these cocksuckers and flipped them off.
When did these guys come up with the idea of blocking fucking roads? I've seen them do it half a dozen times now. And what the fuck? And then they get pissed when somebody runs them down. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I saw one lady.
They're stretched across the road, and all of a sudden this minivan comes and takes out about 6 of them. You were standing in the road. What did you think was going to happen?
If it was me, I'd probably just in the middle of the night attach a plow to my truck and then go about 90 through that line of people because you're thinning out the herd, and that's just, you're giving social Darwinism a hand right there.
Yeah, if there was no consequences, I would do that. But what would you do?
Well, at 90 miles an hour, nobody's really going to get your plate. You know, they're going to be like ducking. The smart ones are going to jump out of the way, and the dummies that need to be, you know, culled from the rest of us, well, they're going to hit the plow and probably explode.
But realistically, though, say you were nose up to this human chain. I think I would continue slowly driving. I would drive fucking 2 miles an hour. And if you lay down in front of my fucking car, that's your own stupidity.
I guess if it was me and I had, say, a firearm in the trunk, I would probably pop off a few warning shots. And I don't like guns, but you kind of need to fight crazy with crazy, so I don't know. You know what you do? If you think that you're going to have to drive down a road and Black Lives Matter is going to be there, start shitting in a box for a week at a time and save your shit.
And throw it at them.
And then that way you've got a box of shit at your disposal. Be like, you guys thought you were going to stop traffic. Guess what? It's dookie time and it's raining brown justice. Here it comes, you fuckers. Brown house.
I'm sure you could be charged with something for that, even.
Who fucking cares? You'd become a goddamn local hero.
Fuck yeah, especially now. And see, that's there again, coming back to our point. If you would have done some shit like that a month ago, you would have been crucified. But I think tide has changed now, and people would applaud you for throwing shit at
They would, or I would have been like, what you should probably do is wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on the drive down to the airport and get out and be like, get out of the fucking way, we're going right up to the doors, get out of the way so we can get through. The next 5 cars we're going through. And then people just start going, they're like, what the fuck? Hey!
The old Trojan horse.
Gotcha, you stupid motherfucker.
If the government was smart, they would have fucking thought about that. And they would have planted about 500 protesters amongst the real protesters.
That's a little suspect. 500.
How would they know? They didn't know who was going to show up the day of. 500 of them showed up at the mall. So just fight numbers with numbers.
Well, it's pretty much probably what it's going to have to come down to. Is like
if
when
you
they
could
use
fake it,
undercover narcs to bust drug rings, you're going to have to use undercover protesters to disrupt Black Lives Matter to keep social justice from disrupting the everyday working order of things.
Or any of these other protests. I think we just had a breakthrough right here on the podcast. We just came up with an all-time awesome tactic for busting up protesters.
First people to think of that idea. If we are, that's really sad. The people that thought of it are a bunch of like old white police sergeants sitting in a room somewhere, and all like, we need to infiltrate Black Lives Matter. And I'm looking around like, well, I'm not going to be the one to wear the blackface paint. Like a bunch of them show up dressed up like the old Jim Crow performance style, and they're like, all right, let's hold these officers accountable for their actions, y'all. Someone's like, yeah, that's really racist. You're still wearing your badge. Oh, son of a... God damn it. Abort. We have been compromised.
Call Team Red. Get them in here.
Anything interesting happened to you in the last few days?
I got to work yesterday, which was Sunday, and I got to sand the floor in a raw vegan restaurant. That just sounds like a cop-out of hiring cooks.
Tell everybody the thing about the tomatoes that you fucking told me. I couldn't believe this shit.
Okay, so we all know how sun-drying works, and we all know that sun-dried tomatoes work.
And that's how you get raisins with grapes.
And, the heat from the sun sucks the moisture out of whatever it is you're drying.
Somebody paid attention in science class.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a fucking genius. Well, in this place, they had moon-dried tomatoes.
Moon-dried tomatoes.
I don't know how long that takes or how much heat you're getting off the moon to dry this shit, but I've never seen such a thing.
I would think that you could only do it on a really high building about 4 days out of the month when there's a full moon.
And unfortunately, I didn't get to ask anybody about this, but what would be the benefits of moon-dried tomatoes?
I don't even know why you'd want to ask them about it, because you'd probably be choked out by the stink of patchouli and failure.
Oh, they had everything in this place.
Oh, God damn it.
They had pink. Okay, this is another thing that confused me. It said black salt, but it was pink. And it was Himalayan salt, but it was pink. But they called it
Well, they
black.
call it Black Friday, but it's when most stores go to the black. But all the stores are like, let's call it Green Friday because we make so much green. They call it a blow job, and nobody blows. So you're like... Because that fucking sounds sexy. It's called sucking a cock.
Why do you drive on a parkway and park in a driveway?
I don't want to think right now. Don't make me do math.
Well, what do you want to go do next? Or are we wrapping it up? Is it that time already?
It's probably time to wrap it up. Coming up is New Year's Eve, so I guess let all acquaintance be forgot, 'cause she was a fucking bitch. I deleted her number out of my phone 'cause her mouth made my penis itch. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Jman.
I'm Danny.
That's the end. Bye!